I said, you should have just killed me, because I can't do this.
I was just like, this can't be real. There's no way.
It's hard, I guess, to put into words, you know, when someone tells you that has happened to them.
Like a situation so bad that you would rather die than stay in that situation, that's a scary feeling.
One summer day in 2013, when she returned home for the summer, Olivia Hassler almost lost her will to live.
Instead, her strength dominated her fear. Today, she hopes her story will help other women not be afraid.
My first impression with Olivia was from recruiting, all-around athlete, and she seemed pretty tight with her family.
Great student, great personality, someone that's interested in athletics, that wants to be an SEC level competitor.
Growing up, Olivia was a happy girl who loved sports almost as much as she adored her family. The Hasslers have always been a close-knit family, but at one point, Olivia let a possessive high school relationship divide them.
They knew that I had liked him and that it was important to me, but also my parents just kind of knew that there was something a little off.
So when your parents would try to talk to you about it and how they were uncomfortable, how did you react?
I got defensive. I thought, you know, I was in love with him and I was kind of in a blinded state. So I had just begun to feel like they were really turning on me and they didn't understand me, but they were just trying to do what was best for me.
Olivia continued on with her relationship until one car ride that changed her life.
I had driven him home and he had just taken his hand and like shoved my face into the window of my car. I just wanted to get away from him. I wanted to get all my things from his house, so I tried to do it when he wasn't there.
When Olivia arrived, he was waiting for her in his basement.
That's when he started like punching me and kicking me. At one point I just kind of gave up and was just taking blows and like just letting him do what he wants and just kind of waiting for him to like tire himself out. I had decided that I was going to run, so I ran to the storm cellar. But what I didn't know was there was something on top of it and the doors wouldn't open. I didn't even know that the storm cellar had doors on it from the back and he had locked them. I had thought, I'm gonna die. Like, I'm gonna die tonight because he just will not let me, like he will just not let me leave.
After locking Olivia in the confined space for hours, he finally let her out. Olivia ran for the stairs.
He had ran after me and grabbed me by my ponytail, and I remember I fell back on the ground and hit my head backwards. He had just started slamming my face into the concrete.
Olivia awoke in a bathtub with water running over her face.
I said, you should have just killed me. He had told me, if I killed you, then you would be leaving me, and I told you that you're not allowed to leave me.
He continued to ask if Olivia loved him. Unable to lie anymore, she said no.
He grabbed my ponytail and just started like slamming my head off the side of the tub like 4 times.
2 days later, Olivia awoke in a hospital.
At some point, he basically threw me out on the street. I was told that I had been mugged outside my car. They thought that that's what had happened.
Did you remember everything immediately right when you woke up?
I was confused because it kind of seemed like a bad dream. I had asked if anyone had been here or if anyone knows. They had told me that my boyfriend had been there. And immediately when they said that, it just kind of all came like rushing back. And the days that I did spend in the hospital, I would wake up every night like screaming.
When did you first talk to the police about the mugging?
It was a little bit after I had woken up. They had come in and asked me, they just wanted to know what happened, but I didn't want to talk about it. I just told them I didn't remember anything, and you know, I just kind of tried to get them out of my room as soon as possible.
So what were some of the reasons why you decided not to tell the police officers?
I was just scared, and I didn't know where he was. I just didn't think that they could help me.
What did your parents think about your hospital stay? Did they ever find out?
At the time, I mean, I was an adult, so they didn't have to really know about it, and I kind of handled everything myself. They had just thought I was staying with friends. I had just kind of lied to them, obviously because I didn't want them to be hurt, but also for more selfish reasons because I knew that they were right about him the whole time, and I was just so embarrassed.
Were you scared that the community and people around you wouldn't believe you?
Yeah, definitely, because some of them thought it was ridiculous. And they were like, no, there's no way. Like, he didn't do all of this. Like, there's no way.
You see that a lot with relationship violence, the fear of not being believed, or the fear of coming forward and people questioning, whether you deserved it, or some other things that people will throw on victims.
The perpetrator tends to try to get them away from their support groups, whether that's their family or their friends. And so there's oftentimes few folks to make a report to, as well as the sad case in which many people find themselves feeling responsible for the behavior in the first place.
I didn't think that it was necessarily my fault, but I do think that that did have a toll on me, because I really thought, am I acting right? Is what I'm doing okay? And he really made me kind of second guess myself. I really had to start over, and I was basically just working and, eating my leftovers at my job. I would go work out, I would shower at the gym, and I would sleep wherever I could find a bed, basically. And some nights I was just I would even just sleep in my car, because I didn't want to go home yet. I couldn't really face my parents at that point.
Did you think that you would just come to school and hopefully it would all just go away?
Yeah, that was my plan, was I would come to school like 600 miles away from where it was, and I would just, be able to shut the door.
If one has not had the opportunity to process a previous trauma, it comes up in future relationships, and it can come up in other physical ways as well.
Once Olivia returned to South Carolina, the miles failed to erase her pain. Now living with a roommate, her feelings were harder to hide.
I just felt like I was sort of numb. Like, I felt like I couldn't relate to people, and people were laughing, and I would laugh, but I wasn't happy. My roommate had noticed it and kind of asked me what was up. And that's when I just decided, someone has to know, because it was weighing on me so much. I just felt so heavy.
I was just like, this can't be real. There's no way that Liv was a victim of domestic violence.
She was shocked, because I remember telling her, and I had started crying, and she said, Liv, I've never seen you cry.
She seemed like she had everything together and the perfect family, and I had no idea that she went months without talking to them and living in her car, and that was just, it seemed so unrealistic to me.
I just decided I needed to tell my parents, because my parents deserved to know. My mom just, started crying, and she was so hurt for me. I thought she was going to be hurt because I didn't tell her, but she was just so sad that something like that had happened to me and to her daughter. And I know my dad felt the same way. They were supportive right from the beginning, and that's what's really important.
A delay in reporting caused difficulty pressing charges. Instead, Olivia obtained a restraining order through the university. Almost a year after the incident occurred, Olivia found her closure in another way.
South Carolina's athletic department not only provided Olivia with security, but also helped her through the coping process. Dr. Kendra Ogletree-Kuzak, a psychologist in the university's athletic department, helped Olivia find ways to overcome her past.
I had gone to the Mayor's Walk Against Domestic Violence in October, and this woman had gotten up and sort of given a short story on what she had went through. So I had spoken to our team psychologist, Dr. Kuzak, and I said, that would be really cool. I would really like to do that on campus, and to have a female outside the situation that really knew my story and really knew me and just believed in what I wanted to do was just so powerful. And she really just gave me all the strength to want to speak out.
I decided to share this with you from the beginning because I feel individuals
would look at me and would never know that I had been through something like this.
Although she played an instrumental role in helping Olivia find closure, she never got to witness it. Dr. Kendra Ogletree-Kuzak unexpectedly passed away before Olivia's first speaking event. Now, Olivia wears this necklace as a symbol of what she's overcome.
I think when you become an advocate for other people, it gives you strength, and I think that's where she gets power now.
She was really trying to take something tragic and say that hopefully this helps somebody else, and also just to put it out there and say, you know, I'm not going to hide.
I elevated, and I took that scenario and I completely switched it around, and I made it something that really lifted me up. I want to use my voice to be the best advocate for domestic violence prevention that I can.
She just wants to have an impact on the world now. She's taking the world on by storm. I can't keep up with her anymore.
Later on, she really kind of developed a strength, so to speak, about it, you know, in the sense of she wasn't afraid to say this happened.
I just want people to understand that, you know, you can speak out about it and not be scared. Just because you feel like, you know, you're in love with the person and you feel like you can't go anywhere besides with them, that doesn't mean that you stay. I could tell my story to one person, I can tell my story to 5 people, I could tell it to, you know, a whole stadium, and it doesn't make a difference. It's just telling it and just reaching one person. And that's what's really, really important to me. I don't care if I'm, you know, on the front of a newspaper or not. That's not the point. The point is to reach people and to make people understand that this is really important, and that people that hear it are gonna feel empowered from it. And that's really just the best feeling.